Is it work? Okay,
Yeah.
great. So I was saying, hi everyone, thank you for attending the talk on the roadshows. So I'm Hélène, and Clément is working with me. Together we are organizing the roadshows in the EMEA region. So the goal of the talk is really to give you more insights on what are the Odoo roadshows and what is planned for V13. So first of all, a little introduction. What are the Odoo roadshows? They are a series of events that we organize after the release of a new version. And they take place worldwide. So basically here we will start the roadshows for V13 late October. And they are events that are organized after working hours, usually the last 3 hours, and they finish with a networking session. And so the events are great collaborative efforts between partners and Odoo to actually promote the software locally, so to local markets. So here are a few numbers for V12. We organized 268 events worldwide, so we visited 81 countries, 215 cities, and altogether we had a little bit more than 120,000 registrations, and the events were sponsored 195 times by partners. So here the goal for next year is to organize 400 events worldwide, and 200 of them will be organized in the EMEA region. So here is a list of the countries that we plan on visiting. We would like to actually have your feedback also, so if you have any suggestion, any city that you think that might be interesting for us, please feel free to share your suggestion with us, because it's really important to work with you and actually get the best cities that makes the most sense for us to visit.
Okay, for this new season of Roadshow, we decided to introduce some big change. The first change is about the structure itself. Okay, so as last year, we are going to start with an introduction, and for the introduction, we are using a tool called Mentimeter. The goal of this tool is to ask questions to attendees, collect their answer, and make the comments live on stage. Then we have the traditional Odoo demonstration, but we also operate a big change. Last year it was a 45-minute long demonstration, so it was a continuous flow. Now we want to have a series of 5-minute demonstrations. So the idea is to come with a problem of the role of the sector, to bring a solution and to explain how to handle it in Odoo. Okay, so it's a series of 5-minute demonstration. I think it's better to keep attention and to keep the attendees focusing on the demonstration. The next change, probably the biggest for you as a partner, is the introduction of a partners panel. So I'm going into details on the next slide about this. Then, as much as possible, we want to have customer testimonial on stage. We really think it's important to have a customer witnessing their experience on stage instead of having a slide or a video speaking about project. Then we will finish with a Q&A session. It's a traditional Q&A session, but the biggest difference is that people can ask their question on the smartphone. We collect during the whole presentation, and at the end we can select the best one and answer and targeting clearly the best question. Finally, on some events we are doing some partnership sessions, partnership programs. We have seen that on many events we have a lot of requests to become a partner. So we think it's important to make a presentation dedicated for potential partners, just to explain what is the partnership program and to avoid having a lot of questions about partnerships. So for you as a partner, it's better because you will spare time to to answer questions of the potential partners. So the partners, it was in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands. It was the first panel we did. It was a great success. The goal is to ask questions to partners. So before, each partner has a 10-minute presentation to present their company and their project. Now we want to make it more interactive, less redundant, and so to ask good questions to partners so you can have a real debate. So for attendees it's better because you can really speak about methodology, your point of view about custom developments, you can give advice, you give your experience, so it's a real debate and it's way more interesting. So it's gonna totally replace the traditional partner presentation, and if you decide to sponsor an event, you can go on stage and answer the question of the speaker. So the next big thing is about the different kind of events we are doing. So traditionally we have general events. So the roadshows were about Odoo in general. We want to create a new kind of event. We call it one scope. It's targeting only one sector or one job. So for example, the first one will be about human resources, marketing, manufacturing, accounting, and we will probably do some events for startups. So the goal is to target homogeneous attendees. In some key cities, for example Paris or big capitals, we are creating master events. So it's a 3 days event. So we have 3 evenings in a row, and the first evening will be about Odoo generally, so the global event, and then we are doing another kind of event. For example, in Paris, the second evening will be marketing, and the third one will be about HR. Okay, so we can adapt the topics regarding the markets and the interest of the attendees. As a partner, you can decide to sponsor only one of these evenings. So for example, if you want to sponsor Paris, you need to select what topic you want to sponsor.
Okay, so now why do we actually organize roadshows? What is the added value for you and for Odoo? First of all, it enables us to attract new leads because of course we promote the event to our database, but we also try to attract as many people as we can that are external to Odoo that have never heard of it. So we try to attract new leads to grow the company, but it's also a great way to actually share knowledge about Odoo and nurture the community. So during the event, we also have a lot of existing customers that are just interested in seeing what are the new features, discuss with their account manager. So it's always a great way to gather people from the Odoo community, discuss, exchange, and just have a great time all together. And so lastly, it also enables us to develop local markets, because definitely we realize that when we actually go physically in a city with a partner, that we organize an event, that we really promote it, it helps us close more deals and develop really the market locally. And so altogether, it enables us to raise brand awareness, because this is something that we're really interested in doing this year. We really want to cover as many cities and as many countries as we can, because we really want to get the name of Odoo out there. We want people to know the software and know who we are. So this is really the main goal of this year. So now, as Clément already mentioned it, as a partner you can sponsor the event. So the benefits are, first of all, you will receive the list of registrations prior to the event. So meaning everybody that signs up for the event, we will send you the list and you can contact them, schedule meetings before or after the event, whatever you like, and treat them as real leads. So this is one thing. You will also be visible on our website. So for each event we create a web page for the specific event, and your logo will be displayed there. The logo will also be displayed on the mass mail promotion. And lastly, you will be able to debate during the partner panel interview. So you will have speaking time in front of the audience, and you will be able to strike people with your presentation. So it's really, really interesting for you. So concretely, what should you expect? What is the organization? How do we work? So prior to the event, Odoo will select the venue. Odoo will create the event webpage. We will also do the promotion, and we will share the leads with you prior to the event. You, on your end as a sponsor, you will prepare the partner panel interview, because you will receive the questions in advance. So it's really, really, really important for you to prepare the questions really well, because this will be your only moment where you can actually present your company in front of the audience, and it's really the moment where you can set yourself aside from the competition. So it's really important. You can also, of course, invite a customer, as we mentioned it already. So also really important to select the right customer for the right city and the right type of events. If you're bringing a customer for HR, one scope event, it should be a customer that has a project in HR, of course. And you can also promote the event more generally, invite leads, existing customer also, if you'd like, to attend the event on the day. So during the event, as Clément said already, Odoo will be responsible for the presentation, animating the partner panel interview, and we will answer questions from during the Q&A session. You on your end, you will debate. You will also introduce a customer that you brought to the event, if you brought one, and you will answer questions during the Q&A session if they are related to partners. Okay. And after the event, Odoo is responsible for wrapping up everything. We will send the thank you email to attendees also. And we will share the remaining list with you. If some people registered after we sent you the first registration list, we will communicate that to you. You on your end, you should just treat the list of leads that you receive as normal leads so you can contact them. And also it's really important for us to have your feedback after the event, so whether it is on the venue, the schedule, the timing, whether the presentation itself, whatever it is, it's really important for us to get your feedback so that we can actually improve for next year or next event that we are organizing in that city.
Okay, so now to finish, we can speak about practical information. So only official partners can sponsor the events, so Ready, Silver and Gold. Learning partners cannot sponsor the events. It's a maximum of 4 sponsors per event in order to be not too much on stage. If you decide to sponsor a 3-day event, as I said before, you need to select the evening you want to sponsor. And the cost of the sponsorship is remains the same. It's €1,800 or $2,000. So now, if you want to become a sponsor, it's very easy. You can. We are going to send you the event dates with all the cities by mail, and then you can contact your account manager if you are interested to sponsor it. We will send you a quotation to validate it, and as soon as it's validated, you will become an official sponsor of the Roadshow. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we have been partners with 4-5 years now. What's the reason? What I see there is that till now, because we sponsored the last year's civil show there in Spain, but what I see that partner is sort of is being pushed back in the sense that Odoo, which is of course is growing. We want Odoo to grow so that we can grow, but I'm not quite convinced with this setup, because here, I mean, we are more becoming like a guest. That I mean, in the last show, Odoo, I mean, I'll explain what we did. It was, of course, it was done as Odoo normally does, but me as a partner, we were very well sort of identified and reflected in that event. It was a big success. But in this format, I'm unable to understand what exactly, I mean, our visibility, probably physical visibility in the event, I think it's been pushed down.
Because of the new partner panel interview?
Yes, not the partner panel, but the whole, I mean, if we can't present our company, if we can't, so I mean...
The thing is, the questions are really related to that. So basically, the questions that we asked during the partner panel interview are, could you please introduce your company and stuff like this. So
sorry to interrupt you. What's the reason, I mean, what's the reason to change a plan or a format of an event which I can assure you works very well? I mean, from where it comes from, I mean, I would like to know, because it surprises me quite a lot that we become like, I'll become more like a guest there and not a partner. That's my feeling. Probably I'm wrong.
No, Clément will give you a word on that.
So before, on some events, we saw that there was a lot of partners. Okay, so for example, 4 partners, and if you make a 10-minute presentation in a row, people at the end always listen the same, and you don't have a real debate about methodology.
All right. I'll tell you, see, I said I've been here coming for 4 years. This is the first time I'm speaking, so I'll be a bit pushy. I'll tell you my experience. We were 2 partners, and we took out 5-10 minutes, and everybody listened perfectly to whatever said. So, I mean, I can understand 4 partners, but that's not, I'm looking for some other answer. That's not, I think, the answer which I'm looking for. I mean, what's the real reason for changing the format? Why the format is being changed?
we want the topic to be more interesting. We really want to go to tackle existing problem of the attendees. We want to speak about methodology, about good practice, about custom developments, what you're positioning about custom developments. We really want to have a real debate, and no problem. The goal is not to have, a strict answer. We really want to have a debate and have something interesting for people to listen. And I really think, and we already experienced, that people can really witnessing their experience, and sometimes partners do not agree on the same points, but at least there is a debate. And if you are in front of an audience, if you are just giving information, I think it's probably not the best way to have a debate.
I don't agree, because
Okay.
A lot of them, when you're talking about bringing leads, probably they don't know so much about what ERPs are or what that's my opinion. But I don't agree. I will do because we are partners, but I honestly don't like to.
Okay, just one point, to be totally honest, when we decided to change that format, we received a lot of, reticence.
Feedback.
Yeah, and in some countries people were very happy, and at the beginning they were not very convinced about the concept. I really think it's the way we do it, but we want to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
In the other end, as a partner also, we do something like 6 to 8 tours per year in Latin America, and there are tours where we are a couple of partners, and both or the 3 presenters are very good, and there are tours which not everybody is good on the stage. So when there's a partner who doesn't have a good spokesman on the stage, people get sleepy, people check their phones, people leave. The last event I spoke on, that was the case. I was the last one, luckily, and I managed to cheer up the audience. But the one who spoke before me was pretty a little boring. They had a video, etc. So I enjoy seeing this. I consider it a progress because it level ups, the stage. So I really enjoy this.
I agree what you're saying,
Yeah.
but what I'm talking about is the partners with the team.
Can I add something?
It depends on the questions and your ability to answer. You will have the microphone, not on the stage.
You need to use the mic because it's live stream.
Okay. Yes, it depends on your ability to answer, to handle the questions. You will be the speaker.
I'm not disagreeing.
I want to add something. Hi, I just want to add something because I share the same position of them, but in the Americas team. And as he said, I think this is like an advantage, and actually it will improve the visibility of partners like you that prepare for this type of events, because you will receive the questions in advance. So you need to be smart enough to see how you want to answer them in the time period that we will give you during the event. And actually, if you prepare better than the rest of the partners, you will have more visibility. This type of structure will not damage your visibility, but we will create more consistency, because it's true that Vauxo or partners like you prepare well in advance for this type of events, but also we receive feedback from people that attend to the events, and they okay, you need to improve the presentation of this partner or this partner, or you need to also reduce the amount of time that they speak, because they start amazingly, but after 45 minutes, they need to leave. And yeah, I think it's a really, really good strategy what they're doing. But everything is a trial. We will try it, and if not, we will change it.
Also, it will reduce the competition between partners because you feel more united when you are on stage speaking about methodology and speaking about your project, sharing your experience, and that's something we want to improve also, to give a united vision of Odoo.
Sure.
Hello, I have feedback on the last roadshow in Paris. We were sponsor of it. 2 feedbacks. One, we should have a kick-off or a meeting of preparation before and after. Because before, the problem is what the Odoo experience is for. Is it for the sponsor or for the clients? I say if it's for the sponsor, all the sponsor come on stage and say we are the best, all the best. But if we are, if it's for the client, all what we have to do here, we have to add the value of what Odoo have said on the introduction, and each partner add value. Yes, so that is the best effort to do, I think. So we were the only one sponsor that had a client testimonial, and I think that that was a good experience for the client.
No, definitely.
That's true.
Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Is this going to apply for the all the regions? Because I'm from Thailand, and the audience prefer to listen to the Thai. And I'm just wondering that for the panel discussion, well, the main speaker, I mean the main moderator going to be Odoo person, right? I'm not sure that. But there's at the APEC office there are now a few Thai people, so I'm not sure that it's going to be in English or in local language.
No, it should be in the language of the country if we have speakers from that country at Odoo. So it's usually Odoo sales reps that will animate the panel. And as we usually do, if we have a speaker that speaks the local language, we send him so that we can do it in the local language.
Also, a few suggestions. Also agree that we should have a meeting before the event, because from the last 4 or 5 years that we sponsor the event, so we always meet the older people at the event day, a few hours before, and we have brush up. And well, we are lucky because in the past few years we are only one who sponsor. At the very beginning we have a 4 or 5 partners, so that will be a difficulty. You said that the first presenter present very good and the second one boring, so people walk out. That's my suggestion, that should have a meeting before. Online is okay. And I would like to share that last year event, like I said, we are only the one sponsor, right? On the back of the room, we have 4 or 5 PC for sponsor, for audience to try. So that would be much more interactive after just sit and listen for a couple of hours. So that would be really nice.
Yeah, that's a good feedback.
Let me answer this question. I'm Felix, marketing from Hong Kong, which is also managing Thailand. So now we are more organized, and we agree that more communication has to be done. So we always send our newsletter to our partners, a lot of updates about our events, and then most likely the brochures only focusing on events. So now we are more organized. Before and after event, there will be briefing and debriefing. So everything is transparent. So don't worry, on the coming Bangkok event, we will be awesome. All right.
Thanks. Yeah.
Like a panel, I love.
Yes, this year I was in Dakar, and I was a bit confused because...
Can you speak up a little bit? We cannot hear you.
I was a bit confused because the event was for partners but also for customers. So Odoo was trying to engage customers and partners. So when you are a sponsor for this event and you saw that Odoo is trying to engage other partners, that's a bit confusing. So I think this event should be separated, one for customers and one for new partners, because I don't want to sponsor to be a sponsor for other partners. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So just to resume, so you mean that on an event you have potential partners and Odoo is recruiting potential partner on an event you are sponsoring, right? Okay, so the thing is, in any, but totally every event, we have a lot of requests to become a sponsor. So if we do not tackle this problem by doing a demonstration at the end of the demonstration, what happens? People come to you and will ask a lot of questions about becoming partners. And then you are finally answering questions about sponsoring partners. So the goal of creating a session at the end is to centralize everything at the same place, apart from customers, so you can spend time, and also Odoo can spare time on answering the question about partnerships. And we can focus on customer, and you as a partner, you have more time and you don't have potential partners to answer. But trust me, in any event of Odoo, you will have people coming and who want to become a partner. In some countries, it's even 1/3 of people who want to become partners. But the partnership session will not be for the attendees. It's going to be another session, and we will have time for people to go out of the room, and we are just saying. For now, it's what we found for a solution, but we can listen to other solutions. Really, if we are aware of this problem.
We can put it in the invitation. This session was not for potential partners. We had over 30% of potential partners who wrote this session. We were actually targeted. So we targeted potential partners to participate in the session. And other partners were being sponsored.
Okay, so I agree we could probably improve the communication about the event, but let's see. I'm convinced we will still have potential partners, and yeah, I think we need to answer the question, and it's better to do it in a batch instead of doing in a networking. But I think it's a subject we could focus on.
Perhaps something that might help with that, I'm not sure if you can do that or if partners are allowed to do that. Can we actually give the participants badges? So we also know who actually attended the session. Is that okay?
That could be a great idea, right? I need to see logistically how we can do that.
I didn't hear the question.
To differentiate the partners and
with the lanyard?
Yeah.
But then we also know who actually attended. Because normally you have like 300 people registered and only 200 show up.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit on the part that partners that are not sponsoring are coming to the event. They're part of the community, so it's impossible to ask them to not assist. But what we try to do in the 3 regions, I think, is that we make them very clear that the only partners that can actively sell during the event are the ones that are sponsoring. So they can go as part of the community, but they're not allowed to sell if they're not sponsoring. So I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same everywhere.
So we cannot forbidden the...
My problem is also not with the existing partners, because we respect each other. It's about the potential partners.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Simon said.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's going to be a time, let's say, in a few years where the number of partners are going to be limited. I know the first part is certification thing, but is there any plan that time will come? I don't know.
You mean in general?
In general, like let's say for countries, there can be only X number. Has it been thought about or not yet?
This is not related to the roadshow, so to be honest, I cannot answer the questions, but you can go, I think Sebastian Bruyne is going to have a talk, and Salvatore also, he's head of a channel, so you can ask that question to him.
Thank you.
Yes. You had a question? Oh, okay.
Could you just clarify how the leads are distributed? So if there's 5 partners and Odoo, and someone attends, they're being distributed to all 4 partners and Odoo?
Yeah.
They're like inundated with everyone calling on them afterwards?
Yeah, so this is what we're doing. We are trying to be as fair as we can, so we are not like dividing the list and sending like the first like batch to one partner, the other one to another one, because it's not fair. We'd rather send everything, and then it's fair. It's a fair game. It's a fair competition, if I can say like this.
And what about guests that one partner registers for the event?
With the UTM link.
Yeah.
So before we had that UTM link, so those guests were just sent to the partner that is linked in the UTM. So if you had if you shared your link with someone, you would only be the one receiving those leads.
Awesome.
Okay. So, okay, one last question because I think it's time.
Thank you. I think the format is good, but it's only there are only a certain number of events that in each country. So I was wondering if you would also support roadshows that partners would do themselves. If we organize a certain industry group or an event where we want to show Odoo version and also, of course, show our extensions and expertise, would you support something like that?
The thing is, we had the case before. This is not really in our strategy because we are trying to have like standardized events that are organized by Odoo throughout the world. But of course, we can, if you have an account manager, the account manager can go to your event, etc. But we will not do the promotion of your event, of your roadshow, your own personal roadshow, for instance. But we can give you support by enabling your account manager to go there on site, help you prepare whatever it is that you need.
Okay, I don't mean promote it with advertising, but promote it with material, maybe the presentation that you usually use in the roadshows.
It's about the presentation. I think, of course, you can ask your account manager to help you prepare the event, and if the account manager comes on stage at your event, of course, he could have. But the thing is, we are not sponsoring it, as Hélène said, about promotion and so on. But if you need help from Odoo to help in the presentations and so on, of course, your account manager can help you. But I mean, it's not.
Or even just brand assets, etc. Like we have brand assets. Like if you want to print a roll-up or whatever, we can give you the design. All those things that you can have access to. The account manager can help you. If you need help with the presentation, he can help you as well. But Odoo will not like.
And just to say something about your point, if you have a specific event you like to do, for example, you are imagine specialized in MRP in a certain country, you can still contact us and we will discuss together, okay, could we have a one-scope event in your country because there is a lot of interest in your country about manufacturing, for example, and do this event, okay? So, but it's going to be an Odoo roadshow and then open to other partners. Of course, we need to be fair. But if you want to tackle a certain topic, you can do that into the roadshow.
Very, very last question because.
I have one experience to share. I've been on the roadshow in Stuttgart, and one negative thing what I've seen at the roadshow was in Stuttgart is a very big market for big companies, Daimler, Porsche, etc. And the accounting point was not very prepared by the Odoo partners, not partners, and
the sales
like Odoo employees. Okay. And they couldn't explain what the new standard. I'm not familiar with accounting, but there's one big point in Stuttgart. And
this is
answer such points like this, and maybe this is because of the beginning of the roadshows, and it's getting better.
I think it really depends on the event itself and on the speakers. And what I can say about that point is that we are focusing on training the people. So that's basically my role at Odoo, is to be sure that people sent on the roadshow are able to explain correctly and give a good presentation. So
and this is new.
On trainings.
It's new.
And that's new, right? But, yeah. So I hope the next one will be good.
Thank you very much.
Now it's lunchtime, so they
Okay, you can say.